6:30, December the 10th, 2020. I'd like to call this meeting of the Library Board to order. Santi, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Vice Chair Jeff Bartlett.
Here.
Board Member Judy Borey.
Here.
Chairman Samuel Graves.
Here.
Secretary Pam Krause.
Here.
Board Member Vivian Reisky is excused. Board Member Vera Walters.
Here.
Board Member Lori Wine.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion to accept the agenda?
I make the motion that we accept the agenda.
Do I hear a second for that
I'll
motion?
second that motion.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Bartlett.
Yes.
Board Member Borey.
Yes.
Chairman Graves.
Yes.
Secretary Krause.
Yes.
Board Member Walters.
Here.
And Board Member Wine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. There's no public present,
Oh, don't forget the acceptance of the minutes.
so,
Acceptance of the minutes.
Letter D.
oh,
Thank you.
you're supposed to be taking care of me. Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes
Your
of
Honor,
the last meeting?
I'd like to move forward that we accept the minutes for November 12th, 2020.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Who's second?
I did.
No, okay.
Oh, Pam, sorry.
We both did.
Roll call, please, Nancy.
Vice Chair Bartlett.
Yes.
Board Member Borey.
Yes.
Chairman Graves.
Yes.
Secretary Krause.
Yes.
Board Member Walters.
Yes.
Board Member Wine.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Now, before I get ahead of myself, there's no public present, so we won't have a call to the public. Correspondence. Have we had any correspondence communication? None to report? Thank you. The librarian's report. Pam, do you have the librarian's report?
I do have the librarian's report tonight. I want to start by referring to the monthly report for November 2020. I believe you have a copy in front of you, and I'll also put it on the screen.
Do I just turn the screen? Okay. And are
So-
you guys going to move the mouse and all that? Okay.
Sorry about that. So each month, we take certain statistics concerning library services. So we're going to show you an example of one of those, and this is something that we can show at every board meeting if desired. So I'll go through to show you what type of things we keep statistics on. And a lot of these we keep statistics on not just for our own knowledge, but to report to the Arizona State Library on an annual basis. So the first category is circulation, and it goes into the different types of materials that we circulate. So you can see this month's total was 11,241. Last month was just over 12,000. And just for your information, this is approximately maybe not quite half of what we normally would be doing, but it's definitely at least a third less than what we would normally circulate in the month of November. We have the different types of formats that we circulate, audio materials, including AV kits, music CDs, video materials, e-content, which includes all digital electronic content from such services as Hoopla, Freegal, the Greater Phoenix Digital Library, and so forth. Our in-house computer usage, and also the counts for wireless access. We do offer free computer cards to people that are not eligible for a library card but want to just use our computer. So there's a count for those. Magazines. Culture passes were just started back up last month on a very limited basis. I believe there's 3 culture passes available right now to 3 of the different museums in the area, but they have to call and make a reservation before they can use the culture pass. And then the last one is giveaways. When COVID first started, we did do some special giveaways of books to some younger children, so we kept track of those. throughout the year, and this month and last month, we haven't done such a giveaway. Any questions about that so far? No. All right, scroll down. Now we're into our patron statistics. Also, like it's about, this isn't quite, I don't think it would be normally 20,000, but it's probably normally around 16 to 17,000 patron visits. New patrons divided into adult and youth. Our easy access cards, which are cards that we give to people that either don't live in the county but want a library card, or we give that to people, and they have limited access. They can check out 3 physical items with an easy access card. We also use the easy access card for people that do live in the county, Pinal County, or in the city limits of Apache Junction that don't have proof of their address when they come in to get their library card. That will enable them to at least check out a few items that day and not leave empty-handed. We can later make that into a regular full library card once they prove their address with us. And then print jobs. That's just how many jobs were printed to the printer that month. So we do a lot of printing. Technical services, items added to the collection. No government docs this month or last. None were added, nor none were withdrawn. And then into public services. Interlibrary loan, these are books books that are loaned between our library and libraries outside of Pinal County. As you know, we do offer a free courier service for books or materials that we want to exchange between Pinal County libraries, but this is counting ones that we actually get from outside the county. So these could be coming from Maricopa County, Pima County, or they could be coming from another state. A lot of people are looking for books that are older, and our library might not have a copy, but we might be able to get one from a college or from another public library in another area. Volunteer hours this month was 183.75, and most of those were Friends of the Library volunteers, and they mainly do services for the bookstore, whether it be pricing the books, sorting the books, working the bookstore. Used bookstore, I should say. And then programs. This is the number of programs that were presented. It doesn't indicate whether they were virtual or in person, but it does tell us the number that were presented and how many attended. So we did some children's programs this past month. Outreach is anything that we do that's outside of the building that reaches out to the community. So we have Library Connections, which is a program where we have a librarian from our library go to some of the Fun Van classes to tell the parents in the Fun Van parenting education classes about the services they can get for free at the library. Story time with the Desert Vista Elementary School kindergarten class. They did a Zoom call where our youth librarian, Stephanie Green, read a couple books to the kindergarten classes via Zoom. Web on Wheels is our bookmobile, or we haven't come up with a name that's sticking yet. So we've been calling it Web on Wheels because we're mainly going out to provide Wi-Fi access to people that need it, but we also want to increase the services on that. So that's probably going to be changing. But we did 2 visits this month and had 7 people attend. Teen programs, and then all of our adult programs. The last category is Fun Van, classes that they do in the library, classes that they do outside of the library, and then any virtual classes they did. Any questions about the monthly report? All right. So is this is something I can do on a monthly basis? We can just send it in the email and you can look at it on your own leisure, or I can present it every month. So that would be something that's up to you.
I think it might be a good idea that we present this each month and then maybe hand us a physical copy.
Okay. We can do that, and then if we decide to change it later, we can definitely do that. Okay, the next thing I want to show you would be That's not the right one. This was in the email that was provided to you about the board agenda from Sansi. This is a patron privacy policy. I became aware about a month or two ago that the library did not have a patron privacy policy, and in today's day and age, I felt like it was an important thing to have because it lets library users know what type of privacy they can expect and what level of privacy we're providing. So this was a privacy policy that was put together by the library supervisors. We looked at some other library systems in the nearby area to see what theirs looked like. This was recommended to us by Joel Stern, city attorney. And once we got our privacy policy in place, we sent it to him for review and edits, and this was the final report. So I wasn't going to read all the way through it, but we can take a moment if you want to let you scan it to see if there's any questions about anything within it. So it talks about how their library circulation records are kept. It talks about their privacy in terms of when they're using our public computers, when we would ever give out any customer information, which is basically just in case if they were sent to the collections agency.
Yeah, I had a question about that one. I thought we weren't collecting fees for overdue books. Is this fees for something else?
This would be fees for lost materials. So we're still charging for damaged or lost materials.
Got it.
Yep. So, but not for overdue fines. So yeah, the number of people that are being referred to collections has definitely decreased.
Any other comments or questions?
No, this.
Okay. If you
looks
keep
good.
looking at it and you have any, just let me know, and we can go ahead and discuss that a little further. So this will become part of our library policies. So it will definitely be given to the city management and let them know that you were consulted with that.
Well, nothing has changed. We're just putting it in writing.
Exactly.
Yeah, was this looked over by the city attorney at all?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, and the last thing for the librarian's report is just some happy news. We've been doing several holiday gift drives for the community. One of them that we always do each year is the Salvation Army Angel Tree. We've received hundreds of tags from them to hang on our tree that has a child's name on it, and I think they use fake names, but with a list of items that they would like to receive for Christmas. We also do the Apache Junction Police Department Toy Drive. And this year we also are doing a couple extra programs that are just specific to the city. We're doing a Paws and Claws animal control shelter pet needs drive, collecting
Great.
kitty litter and toys and food and blankets and all sorts of things for the animals.
That's a nice table setup.
Oh, thank you. I'll
Very
let
nice.
them know. And we haven't started it yet, but are going to be starting it in the next day or two, doing a sock drive for a Genesis project where you can bring in new or very gently used crew socks for people in need for those. So I'm happy to report that all of the Angel Tree children were adopted. So all of them are going to be receiving gifts. And the same for the Apache Junction Police Department Toy Drive. All of the tags are gone. And we've been receiving the gifts in the library a lot this week. I know because I would often be walking out of my office and somebody would be walking by with bags of toys and things and like, where do we bring these? Oh, I'll take them. And then once a week they come and collect them. So they've had carfuls of donations for those kids. So that was my happy news for tonight. And that's all I have for the librarian's report.
I'm glad to hear that we're working with so many of the agencies in town. That's
Yeah.
good to hear. Okay, is there any old business to discuss? No? Okay. New business. Library board member has requested information regarding the library budget on the fiscal year 2020-2021. The library director will provide a brief summary of the budget. Board members may discuss.
Okay, I don't believe we have that one for the screen, do we? I don't think we,
No.
we didn't do that one, but it is in front of you. It's very small print, it's a bunch of numbers, which
Yes.
is what budgets are.
Yeah.
So this is the general fund budget. Each year, the library presents a budget request to the city manager and the budget committee for review. Once they have approved it on their end, it goes to city council for final approval. So what's in front of you is the approved library general fund budget for the fiscal year. So I could go through the whole thing, but I will. I just want to point you to the fourth column over that says 2020/21 city council approved. And it starts with salaries. Does everybody see that? Okay. So, yeah, they have some previous years on there so you can see the changes over the past few years. So it first starts with personnel services, fringe benefits, and then we get into supplies, which includes all of our operating supplies, everything from small tools that we need to get our jobs done to library books to office supplies and DVDs, audio-video materials that we purchase. Then we have our advertising budget, our communications, which is basically telecommunications and postage, travel and training and conference, which this year got, this year it's still quite good. Business conferences is at $29.50. Our utilities, maintenance and repairs, so anything that needs to be added, such as software, office equipment, and furniture, anything to meet ADA regulations. Our printing and binding services, which we don't do a whole lot of anymore. The debt services, this is what we owe for the still remaining for the library addition, which took place back in 2007, 8?
2, 7, 8.
Yeah. So each year we pay a certain amount towards the to pay off the library addition. This year it went up because they refinanced it and they had some loan terms that they had to meet to do the refinance. So it's a little bit bigger this year than it was in the past, and I believe we have about 7 more years left on the debt service, something like around there. Miscellaneous services and charges, subscriptions and memberships, library subscriptions, to like different magazines and different services that we provide, contractual services, and turn the page, and that's it. We have no capital outlay machinery and equipment, at least not for this year. So I know it's a lot of numbers to look at. You can see the percent of change from the previous year, how much additional we've requested this year over last year, whether it be less or more. But each year it is approximately about the same total as it was from previous years. It tends to go up just a little bit each year. So we've been very fortunate to have a great city that provides us with these funds and lets our library continue to evolve and change and grow and provide all the services that it does. So did we have any questions about the budget?
Mr. Chairman, I don't see anything like program supplies, like when you do your programs for the kids. Is that under education and recreation supplies? Is that
Program supplies, actually, almost 100% of our program supplies are provided by the Friends of the Library, and they have their own bank account. So each month, we request money from them, and we tell them what programs or different activities we want to do for adults and kids, and they either approve it or don't approve it. And I have been here 6 years, and they've approved every time we've asked for money. So we're lucky to have them to provide the money for those types of things.
Anything else?
Yes.
I think this is very good. It's small enough that I can understand it, but yet it seems to provide all the information.
Yes. This is just a basic overview. This is on the city website, so anyone can look at it anytime they want. And it does the same thing for all the other departments in the city, so.
You make it too long or too many numbers,
Oh, I know.
not going to look at it.
Yeah. I feel bad for our accounting technician. She's got lots of numbers.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then we have, a board member has requested that the library director provide a brief summary of current borrowing privileges.
Oh, sorry, I was on the wrong one. Okay. I believe the more direct question, I believe, was Maricopa County residents who live in the Apache Junction city limits, about them being able to have a free, full-access library card.
Where does
Yes,
that
second.
occur?
Yes.
Excuse me.
What was your question?
Where does that occur? If you're in Maricopa
Yes, I'm going to show you a
County?
map. So on your screen,
Yeah, exactly where I live.
yeah. So here it is. This is about 300 residences in this area. I believe it's 3 or 4 mostly mobile home parks that are in the city limits, but this is considered Maricopa County because it is on the west side of Meridian. So the library has, as long as I know, I don't know when it started exactly, but they have always provided free full access cards to people in this area. Now that is to say that we have the addresses. There's 4 specific addresses with lot numbers that are in this 300 resident area. It is up to our library staff when they make library cards to be cognizant of those 4 addresses, and when people come in and show proof of address at one of those addresses, that they remember that is part of the city limits. We do have a person on staff who regularly goes through new library card memberships and ensures that people that are in those 4 addresses were not charged non-resident cards. They could have been given an easy access card, meaning that either they didn't show proof of their address at the time of getting their library card at time of registration, or the other unfortunate thing could be one of our circulation staff members, when they made the card, made a mistake and forgot about the address. So that's why we have that checks and balances to make sure that those people don't get missed. Did you have a specific question about that?
I mean, what I was just trying to bring it, I'm just trying to make it more fair for people who are in a different county, just trying to equal things here. And then another thing I was wanting to bring up, I don't know if this is off topic or not, but what about our winter visitors? Are they having the same borrowing privileges as our regular residents? I was wanting to maybe see if we can discuss that as well, or should that be on a different agenda item?
I can discuss it right now. The circulation policy for winter visitors is they can have a full free access library card if they are in the city at least 30 days out of the year. And for most of our winter visitors, they're here much longer than 30 days. So we take their word for it when they come. They do have to show proof of where they're staying while they're here. We do make the library card with their home address as their Apache Junction address while they're here, and then their alternate address, their other home, wherever it may be. So yes, they get full privileges because they're considered
Okay.
Residents.
a resident, yes.
So let me ask a question just out of curiosity, if you don't mind. So the people in that designated area, do they have access to both Pinell County Library and Maricopa County Library?
They do.
privileges?
They're a special group of 300 residences that can get free cards from both. So they're actually in a wonderful spot. Because they're in Maricopa County. If you live in Maricopa County, your taxes, where you pay, what county you pay your taxes to dictates which library systems you can get free library cards from. So if you live in Maricopa County, you can go to the Maricopa County Library District, and they have, I think, 18 to 20 branches across Maricopa County. You can also go to any of the city libraries in Maricopa County. So you can get a free card at Scottsdale, at Mesa, at Phoenix, at Chandler, at Tempe. So you could just drive the county and get library cards all day. And same goes for Pinell. You can get, if you live in Pinell County, you can go to, well, we're all one system. So you would get one card and it would be good at all of our Pinell County libraries. So Coolidge, Florence, Eloy, and so forth.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So, yeah, it would be wonderful to include all of Maricopa County into our library, but Maricopa County is so huge. I'm not sure how the rest of the Pinell County libraries would feel about that.
Well, plus the library is funded by what city or county you live in.
Exactly, yeah.
And as far as those folks that live in that 300 there, when they show their address, it shows they live in Apache Junction when they show that. So they should be getting a library card anyway.
Right. The thing is, we use the assessor's website. So if you look up, I think one of the addresses there is like 320 North Meridian or 302 North Meridian. If you look that up, it shows the owner as being some property management company. It doesn't list all the people that own, that are in each of the units or each of the spaces. So that's why we're still dependent on people to show proof of address on their license or on a recently received piece of mail through the Postal Service.
But it's interesting that someone who lives, their address is Apache Junction, they pay Apache Junction taxes, they have free access to our library because they're in the county, but they can't be on the library board.
Correct. They have to be in the city limits of Apache Junction.
Ah.
Yeah, I learned that this year, too.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah.
Yep. So it was a great question because I learned a lot by looking into this, too. So I'm glad it was brought up. So does anybody have any more questions about the...
Yeah, are we allowed to vote on this or
Well, there's nothing really to vote on because it's something that we've been offering all along, and we still are. We're not changing anything, so.
okay, so we just have an advisory function. We don't have authority to like vote on anything or
You
like
can't-
if
well,
we were, we'd have to vote on something and send it to the council. Like, how is that?
I mean, there might be things that we'll have motions on in the future, but this particular item is just more of a educational piece. You had a question about the county lines and the city of AJ limits, and so I did the research on that and just presenting to you the results, just letting you know that I believe what you wanted is what we're already providing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I was actually wanting to see if we could actually eventually get to a point where we can actually maybe discuss changing it to where, regardless of what county you're in, Maricopa County residents and Pinell County residents of Apache Junction would just have the same borrowing privileges. That's what I was trying to do there.
So Pinell County residents could use Maricopa County for free, and Maricopa could use Pinell County for free.
or just use our public library for Apache Junction. That's what I was trying to do.
Well, as she
And I
said,
think-
Maricopa County is so huge.
Yeah.
That would, I don't imagine that everybody in Maricopa County would come streaming over here,
Right.
but
I can let you know one thing that's happened with Maricopa County Library District and the town of Queen Creek recently. I believe it was in 2018. If you're familiar with Queen Creek, there's a library there. It's in Maricopa County, but Queen Creek has a county line going through it, and part of Queen Creek is in Pinal County. And we often used to get people coming into our library, because we were the closest library to them, saying, I had to drive 30 minutes to get to you, even though the Maricopa County Queen Creek branch is basically in my backyard, but it's over the line, and they won't let me have a free card. Well, Maricopa County Library District and the town of Queen Creek came to an intergovernmental agreement where the town of Queen Creek is paying Maricopa County Library District to allow those people in the town of Queen Creek that are in Pinal County to use that library for free. But they are paying for it. It's not, it wasn't a free exchange. So we don't get as many people now coming from Queen Creek that live in Pinal County. But I do know not too long ago that there was attempts made at having a more reciprocal borrowing arrangement between Maricopa County, some of the libraries there, and Pinal County, and they were not able to make an agreement. So it's something that would love to do, and it's something that maybe in the future we would, be able to approach it again. But it would definitely be a big undertaking, especially since Maricopa County has so many different library districts, and they'd probably each have to be in an agreement with us.
I think this might clarify what I'm trying to say better. Like, I'm trying to base it more off of the city you live in instead of the county you live in, if that kind of helps you understand it better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like City of Mesa.
City of Apache Junction.
Okay.
Like, anybody, if you look at this map, what I was trying to explain here, anybody that's in Mesa would be considered Mesa and not the same borrowing privileges as Apache Junction. That's what I was trying to get at there.
Okay, well, they don't. So anyone that comes from Mesa to our library, they can get the easy access card, so they can check out 3 items, but they don't get the full card like an Apache Junction resident would. Every person that, well, except there still are a few people that are in Apache Junction that are in the Maricopa region, Maricopa County. There are still some of those that, because they're not in the city limits. So those are the people you're more concerned about.
No, the ones that are in the city limits.
Which would, like yourself.
Yeah, west of Meridian, but within this boundary here. That's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, they do have full borrowing privileges.
Don't they have to pay an extra fee?
No, that's what I was explaining. Yeah, they have full free borrowing privileges.
And that's up to 25 items or up to 3?
That's up to 20 items, which is a normal amount that somebody, but they do have to provide current proof of address to get that, just like any other library card registrant.
Yeah, I think somebody at the counter caused a misunderstanding there.
Okay, we can discuss that afterward, and that's, yeah, not a problem. I knew that you lived there because of your application, so I was wondering if there was some sort of discrepancy. So that's what I said. Occasionally, a staff member might forget the addresses that are in that special section, so we can definitely take care of that.
Yeah, and the reason why I was just bringing this up, just make sure we're being fair with people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right.
Any other comments, discussion? Okay. A library board member has requested the following topic. Director provide a brief summary of the library's mission and policy.
Where are we?
What number are we on?
I agree.
3.
I3.
That doesn't say anything about purchasing library materials.
Yeah, right after 2661.
Apples and oranges here.
Oh, okay, I see it now. I'm sorry.
That's right.
What number is mission and policy on? I don't see that.
We're on new business,
Right below it.
number
On
3.
section I3, discussion on possible options for patrons to purchase library materials. A library board member has requested this topic for discussion. The library director, please provide us with a summary of the mission and policy.
Oh, I
Thank
see
you.
that now.
Thank you. I missed it.
Oh,
Okay, so this, I believe, came up from a request to talk about the possibility of purchasing a book or a material from the library if somebody so wanted to, once they had realized that they wanted to have it as their own. So this kind of brings me to an education piece about libraries in general. Libraries, their mission is to provide equity in their access to of materials for people, regardless of how much money they make or how able they are to get information. We want to provide free information to everybody. So imposing something like giving people the option to purchase material is kind of going against what the American Library Association, which is what public libraries adhere to in terms of standards and guidelines. It's going against the service model that public libraries practice in a normal day. We want to be there to have materials loaned out. People can request them if they're checked out already, and we can place them on hold for them to come back. But to have an item be purchased and not from our collection, and then we would have to get another copy, it wouldn't fit into what public libraries are about. And I can go into more about that, but I think you kind of are getting my gist.
Well, are there things that the library purchases that an individual can't purchase somewhere else?
Probably. I mean, we probably have books in our collection that, I know, like our Arizona room, we have
Oh, that
a
are
vast
out of
collection
print.
of Arizona materials that are out of print. And a lot of it, even today, the print business is not as big as it used to be with technology. So books are going out of print more easily. So there's definitely a case where we're going to have a book that is no longer available new through Amazon or some other bookstore. But the thing is, we want to be able to protect that book so that other people can have access to it.
Right.
Since we paid for it with public funds, we want to be able to provide it to anyone in the public that wants it. And that's where, if somebody loses it, they have to pay, so we could hopefully get another copy.
Okay, now, there are books for sale
Yes.
by the
Friends.
Friends of the Library.
Yes, thank you. I meant to bring that up. So we do have a not 24/7, but we have yeah, that would be nice. We do have a bookstore in the library. Whenever the library is open, the bookstore is open. You can peruse the shelves there. There are thousands of books there. Most of them are donated by community members. They are very affordable. They have sales all the time. You can get books there for $0.25, and we do have, some of the bestsellers even that people will read once and decide that they don't want to hold on to it and want to share the love, and they donate to the library, and we sell it for a few bucks. And that's where our programming money comes from, among other things. But that's where we get those funds from. So also, some of the books in there are books that have been discarded from our collection. And that could be for a variety of reasons. It could be because it is in fair to poor condition. It could be because it's no longer a valid resource for the library. It doesn't have no one's checked it out for a decade, and it's taking up valuable shelf space. So there's lots of reasons why we might discard a book. And the Friends of the Library, a lot of them are past librarians, a lot of them even past librarians from Apache Junction. And they're very skilled at deciding what things should be in the bookstore and what things need to be recycled and so forth. So I love looking through there on my lunch break.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Okay. Are there any requests for any future agenda items at this time?
Could I have a moment for that?
Ms. Kraus?
Okay. I happen to come across an ultraviolet light machine, and I'll give you a copy of this when we're done, so you don't have to write it all down.
Okay.
But what this does is it includes, kills the virus for COVID. You can use books, DVDs, CDs, and more. And with COVID going around for the second time, I didn't know if this is something we might be interested in to look at. And not just that, but then for the flu season, you know, with our community, I don't know how many are in that area being worried about it, if this is something that we might want to look into in the future or not. So I figured I'd pass that on to you.
Thank you.
And then I was watching YouTube videos from 2006 about the library, and they used to have a whole system about side hustles and how to get your own job and stuff like that. And I was wondering if there's somehow we could get that back up and going, but do it like a Zoom so other people can learn how to do it, because right now people are sitting at home. This way they could do like a side hustle or something.
So it was part of the Apache Junction YouTube channel, and it was an old video from 2006, or it was from another library?
It's from you from 2006. It was when you guys were doing your whole,
Citizenship and leadership.
thank you, citizenship.
Oh,
You guys were
okay.
discussing that.
So side hustles meaning like, you know, Instacart, any like side job, mowing lawns?
Well, here, I have
That's it.
transcripts, visual assistants,
Okay.
freelancing, stuff that you can do your own, but then
Yeah.
also have it that you need, you know, what's the policies? You have to have your EIN number, what type of business, you know, how to kind of conduct yourself. To
Okay.
get into that place with people sitting at home, they can do these jobs from home and still make money to
Yeah,
help
I know
support
that's
the
a big
economy
topic.
right now.
Okay, I'll definitely take a look
But I
at
have
that
that
and
now.
talk to our programmers.
Okay.
I know we had a supervisors meeting today, and I know they're talking about things along those lines, not necessarily side hustles, but in terms of getting people back into the workforce and resume help and stuff, but doing it from in a safe manner, and how that's going to look, and also how to market it to the people that need it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That,
All
you
right.
guys have really great resources, but that's area that's always, you're constantly updating it to what's going on in the world. And I know for counseling or just a consultation, you have to go all the way to Chandler, where a lot of people can't even do that nowadays because of the driving.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
all right, I'm done.
Any other discussion?
I'd like to compliment the library again on being a good library. And I was delighted to know that the lecture series, the winter lecture series, is going to be virtual.
Yes.
But it's going to go on, because that was very popular.
Oh, our most popular program, for sure. For adults, at least, yes.
That's good.
Yeah. And thank you for doing some of our wonderful Facebook advertisements.
Oh, right.
It was awesome.
This woman knows her
Play away.
Well, I was disappointed to
playaways.
see that the numbers went down. I was hoping with that it would go up, but it didn't. But
Give it time.
I'm glad you have those, and I think it was good to let people know.
Yes.
Thank you.
And you did a good job. Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question too. How do you count those, the virtual stuff in your counts, like in your numbers? How will you count those, or will you be able to?
For our purposes,
You know, like
the state report, which is actually just due in a couple weeks, they want us to divide out the virtual programs from the physical ones, which makes sense. But they also have a category, they have virtual programs, and they have pre-recorded programs. So they're different in that they're on demand, so anybody can log in any time of day to watch it. those are being counted differently than ones that are just offered one time but through a virtual format, whether it be a social media channel or YouTube or Zoom or whatever it is. So we mainly keep track of that for the annual report to have that accurate on there. Is that what you meant? Yeah.
So they'll use their library card or their library card number to sign in type of thing, or not?
Well,
I mean, is there a way to track, the number of people?
It's difficult. It's easy if it's something like Zoom, because you can see the number of people that have logged in, because they have to have a special code and a special address to get in. You have to give them a password. So those are easy. Facebook and social media, that's a lot more difficult. And you really have to decide what you want to look for, what you want to count. Do you want to know, like if it's a video and it's 20 minutes long, do you want to know how many people watched the whole video, or do you want to know just the people that the video appeared in their screen? Or do you want to count the people that watched it for at least 3 minutes? I mean, they have so many analytics in Facebook. It's crazy. So as a library, we have to decide how we want to look at those things. And the great thing with Facebook is that you can go back in history and you can look at all those things. You can pull up all the videos and you can see all of that without having to do it like on a monthly basis. And that's also great for marketing too, because you can see what type of people are watching your videos and participating and so forth. And then there's Facebook Live as well, where FunVan does that a lot, where they'll go on and they'll do like a parent tip. Like they'll do like a 5 or 10 minute thing where they talk about a tip for parents during this time, like how to get your kids to not sit in front of the screen all day or stuff like that. So for those ones, you can see how many people are watching at that moment. Like you can see the numbers go up and down. So it's easier to keep a count than with one that is on the social media all the time. So. But for the state report, they just want to know the number of programs and the number of attendees.
Okay. That's it.
Any other discussion?
I just have a quick question. So I remember right before or around the time we got appointed to this board, I noticed that we missed a meeting in October. I was just wondering if you're just kind of able to explain kind of what happened there. And I noticed on our agenda that it's a little different than versus what the council does. I know they'll actually do a request for their next meeting and then they'll vote on that. So I'm just kind of wondering kind of what happened in October.
So historically, the library board hasn't always met every single month. In fact, I would say on average they met quarterly over the past few years. So October, I didn't have a lot of new information, and I didn't want to, I value your time to come here, to leave your house at night and come here, and especially with a pandemic. So at that month, I decided to not have a meeting because there wasn't really enough to form an agenda. Yeah. If you want to meet every month, regardless, if I have anything, we can do that. But I would rather meet when we have a good, healthy agenda to make the best use of your time and my time.
The reason why I was asking that is because I was reading through the city code and they wanted it done like on a certain, like, based off of what I read, it was saying like it needs to be on a regular, I think like a day or so. I don't have it in front of me, but like it needs to be done like regular each month, and that's kind of why I was asking, just to make sure we were.
Yeah, I've never been approached about skipping a month. I mean, I've only been in this position since March, but I haven't been approached about that. If you look at Legistar, you can see some of all the boards that meet throughout it, and you'll see that some other ones also don't meet every month. I'm not going to call them out because I'll let you look, but It's mainly left up to the director of the department and the board to decide if they deem that a meeting is necessary each month.
Okay, yeah, and the other thing was I noticed I got like all this is stuff that I put on the agenda last meeting, but I noticed we got like very little notice, like from, I think I had like just a week to look this over.
That's we are required by the city to have the agenda a week before.
Okay.
And it's always been our practice to send out the email exactly the week before. That way everybody knows when to expect it. And that gives you a week to read any attachments or correspondence that's sent with the email from Sansi. Are you feeling like that's giving you enough time? If it's, because we always have our meetings the second Thursday of the month, and so you'll get the agenda items the first Thursday of the month.
Yeah, that works. I was just kind of wondering, because I think I was wondering if we were going to have a meeting or not, and I noticed all the other boards were posting their agenda, and I was thinking, what's going on?
Yeah, so
That's why I'm bringing
that's always
this up.
been the library's practice, and some of the people have been on the board for a couple years and know kind of when to expect it. So we're just kind of following that standard. In terms of if we don't have a meeting, you'll get also an email saying we're not having a meeting for such and such a reason.
And I, for one, appreciate that if you don't have a lot to discuss, we're all busy people, too.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I know you love the library, and so do I.
Go along with
Yeah, great. And a lot of you are on multiple boards, too, so definitely want to make best use of your time. And
Thank you.
yeah.
Any other discussions or comments? Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
You don't need a motion.
No? I had to have one last week.
All right.
when-
I guess since you asked, I'll ask to be recognized.
Okay. What?
Since you asked, ask to be recognized then. I'd like to move forward that we adjourn the meeting.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Happy
Yes,
holidays.
happy holidays.